So now for the weapon, I'm going to add this design first on a cube like this, Polymesh 3D, and I'll reduce the thickness and Dynamesh it. I'll Control D a couple of times and I will rotate this reference here, the concept, reduce the size, make sure symmetry turn on like this, just to make sure you know the center of the mesh here. Now I will draw a pane like this just to see if it's pretty straight. If it's not, then I need to rotate my concept here. It's more like this, and then I paint something like this. So I think it's pretty symmetry now. I'll just turn off my symmetry and paint this one so I get a better, more clear view for this part here. So now we have this reference here, so we can use this reference to adjust the shapes. So let's start with this snowflakes part here. You can duplicate this one and then let me delete lower and add this, just initialize this. I pick Q, cylinder, Z. So now I can turn off my solo, pull this out a bit. Oh, maybe I don't need to pull this out a bit. I just want to keep this on the 0 axis. So I'm going to reduce this and I'm moving this reference like this. So now from here I will work to creating these snowflakes. As you can see, the snowflake shapes is hexagonal, so it has 6 angle, 6 part like this. So I will work on just one side of the part on it, so just this part right here, and then later I will just duplicate and rotate so to create all the other 6 part. So let's start from here. I can just isolate this part just to make easier to rotate my model. So from here, I'll reduce the size. I will create a BTO brush, topology brush. Make sure activate symmetry and draw a line. A little bit bigger line like this. I think it's better if we just use this Q cube here. It's much simpler this way. So I'll change my color. This part right here, I will move it slightly like this. Hide again. So I will create this base shapes first. I'll reconstruct it, del higher. I'm just going to delete this part here, this part. So this part here I will stitch over here. Same with this one. So this is the center, this is the 0 axis. So need to match this here with a concept. And adjust the size. I'll duplicate just to create the top part. Like this. So now I have this top part. I think this one is a bit smaller. I will mirror and weld, turning on this Z because I want to work on this back part also. So now my symmetry also I will turn on Z. Now I can push this back. Same with this point. In this part right here, I will turn on the Z on mirror and weld. Same as before, activate symmetry also. Now I will duplicate this, pull it up, add some QMesh, polygroup all, like this. So I can create these shapes here. I think I can just use this spotlight here. This part here, it has another angle here. So let me just back on it after this. So now I'm just try to match the reference. This is the triangle, the main triangle. This is the second one here. And now this top part here need a bit lower like this. And since I need this angle, I will use slice to create a poly loop like this. And I will increase the size like this. It's saving. And now this one here, I can make this part a bit thinner, following the shapes of the top part here. This part also. And we need more polygon just to push this back. Can add another slice and pull this back like this. You can delete this line here. I'm just using stitch. Turn off my symmetry. First point, second point. Not sure how. Oh, I still mask this, so it doesn't work. Now it's like this. Now I need to build this center part here, this middle. I think I can use this part. Duplicate, add some thickness. I'll save another camera here. I'll use clip curve just to cut this down like this. And move it outside like this. This part here can be stitched. Now the last part should be this part here, the hexagon on the center. We can create it by selecting this cylinder 3D here. And in initialize here, you can lower this down to 6, the H divide here. And the V divide, I'll put it to just 2 like this. So this is at 5, so this should be work fine. Make Polymesh 3D and go to your previously file, append this one, this new one here. I will scale this down and rotate like this. So we have this part. I need to crease all, divide it, and tilt lower, so I get this another line here, just to form this part here. But turn on my active symmetry XYZ, and from here I can stitch. So we have middle. I think this one need to be, I need to connect these 2 lines first. Bridge 2 points. Same with this one here. Then I can delete this polygon here. So I have these shapes like this. From here, can select this point and I'll reduce the size. And I press crease all. It should be, looks like this. Make sure the size is correct. This one right here, I will lower it down. This one also. This part, yeah, I need to slice this. Just add more poly to do this. I will stitch these two. So the previously triangle now will be rectangular like this. Check with the reference again. Things should be fine. We can hide this part first and then merge visible, and holding shift and press this I button to hide everything, and go back to this part here, pan this part here. So you can turn on your active symmetry Z and add some lines. Just press crease all like this and duplicate a bit just to see how it looks. Divide it a bit just to make sure everything looks okay. You can just undo that, and we Control D. While our axis here, our gizmo here is in a 0 axis, turn off your symmetry, holding down shift and rotate it 63 degree, and we can get the correct 60 degree here. So all I need to do is open up this deformation tab here and try there's a rotate here. You can rotate this or just put 60 here and press enter. Now we have the exact 60 degree. You can duplicate that again, put 60 on rotation, duplicate, duplicate, and the last one. So we have these snowflake parts here. This part here, I want to make this a bit flat just to match the shape here. Now we can merge visible, hide everything, append, select this merge part here. So we have this. Now we can add more subdivision so it looks smooth like this. Check from the side, it will look like this. Save your files. This. Now I can continue working on these lower parts here. I can unhide all first and hide my mesh that I can work with. And for this part here, I will use Gizmo. Select this button here, new folder, snowflake 0, just so we have a backup files for that. You can hide this. And now we work on this part here. Same as before, we can just delete lower, turn on my symmetry here, use Q-cube just to create this lower part, this golden part, split, and from here I'll just mirror and weld ZXZ. So now I know my position is incorrect, so I can delete this. Now I will create these curvy parts here. Turn off this one, stretch this, rotate, and up a bit. Add another line, lower it down. So I want to reduce the thickness of the lower parts like this. Group by normal, crease polygroup. Turn on your snowflakes and readjust the position of it. Since this one is a little small like this, and lower it down. So this part right here, it's need to be more thick because we need to have a good support that connecting this part here to the snowflakes. Later we can add it later. For now, here I will Ctrl Shift D just to duplicate it. And now I can work on the lower parts here. I'll select this lower part, stretch it down. Check with my reference here. This part here I can uncrease all and then group by normal, crease polygroup. It should be like this. And I'll mask this here and move it out. Same with this part. So it has a curvy shapes like this. I can remove this crease on this part here. Need to adjust the position of this reference a bit. Now from here I will duplicate again to create this outer white part. I can just use this mesh right here, this one here, and then I delete hidden. Ctrl W to create a single polygroup, and this Q mesh polygroup all. I'll just do it like this. See the reference. Now I need to move this part here to lower it down like this. I can use clip curve to cut the lower part. And the one at the top, I'll just use a gizmo to move the points like this. And this one here, I'll add another one just to create this outer curve. Here as well, but since it's shapes like this, the topology like this, so I will add another one here. Add a crease in here. Group by normal, crease polygroup. Now it should be look like this. Crease. Turn off my reference. Seems need to be taller, this part. This part right here, I want to add another Q mesh here. Select this one, reduce the thickness just so it connected with this part pretty well. Now I need to crease edge loop like this. So this part here I can reduce the size. Same with this top part here. Need to adjust this so it has a better balance between these two objects. I think now I need to increase the size of this one instead of shrinking it down. So like this should be good. Now for these lines here, I can create it from this using the polygon, I think. Let me make this part here a bit thinner. So I have this 3 polygroup selected. I mask this and reduce the size. I think this part here is better if it's separated polygon. So I will duplicate this. Insert a line. So now I'm going to select this and this one here. So we have this polygon, del hidden, Q mesh out, and turn off my double so the polygon is not flipped now. Check with the reference and adjustment. I will clip these parts. This part also. From here, I will group by normal crease polygroup. This part need to be, I think I will add some bevel first, but first I will mirror and weld. Then I will add bevel right in here. Let's see, right here. This part also. Group by normal, crease polygroup. Now I will add another crease in this part here, in the corner. Same with this one. Should be look like this, and I'll pull this down inside. So it looks like it's blend better with the main object, the main shapes. So it have this triangle kind of shape, so it has a different thickness. It looks pretty good, I think. Now we need to add this button here. Same technique as before, IMM clothing. Like this. Forget to save your files. we'll continue down here. We have the cylinder type. We can use from the previously. We already have this cylinder part. Just duplicate it and rotate like this. Scale it like this. So the ships, we have two parts here. I will just combine it using this one cylinder here. I will duplicate that, scale it down. I will add another loop, poly loop here. I make sure I turn on my Z symmetry, and this one right here I'll just Q mesh inside like this. Select the inside part and I will scale it down. Group by normal, crease polygroup. I think I need to increase my max angle to 50. Group by normal, polygroup. So we have something like this. Scale it down. Now I think this part here can be a bit more curvy. So I'll pull it out like this. So it has a similar shapes as the cylinder down here. Now we can continue for this part right here. I think we can reuse from this part. I'll Control Shift D, pull it down like this, and I will rotate it like this. Delete this part and maybe just cut everything, make it planar using this clip curve. And I'll add another one here using Q mesh. And now I need to match with my reference. Cut it down. It's up like this. So I need another mesh, another poly loop here and here. I'll pull this inside. So we have something like this. Group by normal, crease polygroup. Check how it looks like. This part here can be a bit lower, so it's create a sharper curve like this. More flat surface on the down here. We can add another button right here. Continue duplicating this right here and increase the size. Check our reference. Like this. Select this part. You can reuse this part here. I'm trying to adjust it from the reference. Now we have these shapes right here. I think I need another shapes here, like just to create a bevel. Like this, and down here as well. Please remember that this two poly group is the same, so you need to auto group it. I will pull this down like this, just until this part here. And now I will add poly loops here, here, and here. Now let me adjust the thickness of each of this one. Should be like this, and it is inside like this. This part is smaller. Group by normal, crease poly group. See how it looks. I think I need this part here. Add another crease. Should be like this. This lower part here, I can Q mesh that out and add some crease here. Remove this, remove the crease on here. Check again. Now we need to create the long parts. These long parts here. We'll just using this cylinder here that we prepared before. Ctrl+Shift+D and stretch it out. Make sure it has the same thickness. Crease poly group. So it's end around this part right here. And for this lower parts here, since we don't have a better reference for this, we can just improve it. I'll just duplicate this part right here, turn off my symmetry, rotate it 190 degree, pull it down like this. Pull it down. And adjust the tip of this lower parts here. I think it should be just like this, should be fine. And as you can see, there's another part here. You can just duplicate your cylinder here, go down like this, check your reference just to know the position, and I will add some bevel here and select these two top parts, decrease the size, crease poly group. This part right here, I will just follow my reference also. So next we will just build this top part and this accessories part here. For this part here, since this is floating, so if we want to produce this as a figure, it will be impossible. So we need to connect these dots here to this part here. So I'll reuse some of the part from this parts here, since we have on the separated folder right here. So I start with this part, duplicate, and move it to the top like this. I will put it outside my folder, rotate it 90 degree like this, and check with the reference. I think I needed another parts. Let's see. I think, yeah, I can start from here. I will duplicate this. First, I will build up the top part, this top here. I will turn on my symmetry, stitch everything. This one here I will delete. Now we have the top parts right here. Adjust its size. And this one here, should be like this. I'll select this, make it flat using the scale. Put it down like this. Need to turn on my symmetry. Adjust this position here. So let me duplicate this part just and turn off my symmetry to create these smaller parts. turn on my active symmetry again. Now I can mirror and weld. Duplicate again to create this other part. I'll adjust the position like this. I think it's gonna need another poly loops here. This part here will be like this, and just make sure the looks from the side it's refined well. If you want to have this straight line, you can just delete this line and then just press mirror and weld again, so we have a straight surface like this. Now I need to build this, the part that connect everything. Duplicate, same as before, but since the one on the concept looks really thin like this, I will just make it a bit bigger like this, just so connecting all these 5 parts here. I can make this part more thick so we can see the shapes. Same with this part also. Now we add this hexagon here. I think we already have hexagon, so you can just load it. Rotate this. I'll rotate 60 degrees. Since this one is not in the center, let me put it back in the center and rotate 60 degrees. Oh, I mean 30. I think 30. So it looks like this. We adjust the size a little bigger, same as the one on the top. I'll adjust it so it has just enough good support, so it will be good when we printed it. Now the ring part, let me hide this. The ring part should be created from the same object. Let me use the cylinder here. Increase the size. I'll delete this part here. Move it like this. So we have this part here. If you want to print it, this one, the color should be in a clear, so it has no color. So, and then next I will duplicate this. I will delete the top and the bottom part and add thickness to this part here. So this one later, that will be this gold part. So we have 2 parts here. Crease poly group. This one, the inside part, the inside of the circle will be casted in the clear material, and the one on the outside here should be the one that painted gold. Should be like this. Check with the size on the reference. I think it's about right. This part here can be a little bit thinner than now. So now I want to move this to down here. So I will use this selection here and select each part. Make sure everything's selected and put it down like this. We can also have a clear part here, but maybe right now is like this just fine. This right here, I'm going to add some bevel. I'll select the sides and reduce it like this. Let me adjust it again. And this part maybe can be a little bit thicker. Turn on Z symmetry. I will select the one on the inside, mask the one on the inside. I'm not sure, I can't reconstruct here, but it should be okay for now. So now we can see this part here on top of this, like this. And it should be the one down here also. I will mask the inner part, soften the mask, and rotate it. So we have a thicker parts here, and pull it down like this and cut this using clip curve. So now we have all connected parts like this. Don't forget to save. Now I'll continue with this part right here. We can reuse some of the part from this here. I'll just duplicate and select this one here, del hidden, reconstruct if I can. Now I'll move it like this. Rescale it. I'll adjust the thickness also. And now I will add this cylinder. Let me delete my subdivision level. Turn off my symmetry. Add the cylinder here. Just to connect these two parts. Again, I make it a bit bigger compared to the concept, just to create a better support, stronger support like this. Can split. I will inflate this like this. I can close these holes. Delt lower using the insert cylinder. I will close these holes like this. Now it should be stronger, and maybe add some thickness around here again. Now we can continue creating this part. We can reuse some from here, duplicate, turn off the symmetry and rotate, move it like this. Can use inflate to increase the thickness. Now I can add this sphere. I'll duplicate this part here, make a bit smaller. Now we need to create this stuff here. I think I'll make a smaller overall composition. Like this, increase this sphere size. And this should be fine. Just make sure everything in the center. Now add this part right here. I'll just using QCube, split and mask. Now this part here, I will just create a quick shapes. Like this. Next I'll duplicate, rotate it just to create this, and remove this part, del hidden. Increase the size, especially on this middle part here. Add some thickness using QMesh. Crease polygroup. Select on the top. Crease polygroup again. And adjust the shapes. I can just use it without symmetry like this. Should be fine. So this part right here has a button. So I'll insert it like this. I add this one also, so I'll just delete it. So should be like this. And finally these blue parts here. We need to fill the holes on this part. I'll just add another poly loops here as well. Adjust the size. So I think now we are done with this, almost done. So all we need to do now is merge everything together. Just make sure to save your files. And for closing these holes here, or this one right here, later we can just do this part here when we add some subdivision level, and this part here I just add another cube just to close the holes. Let me recreate it again. The reason why we close it, because of course for production it will be harder if we have this type of hole. So I'll select this, crease all like this, reduce the size, should be fine. Same with this one actually. I'll duplicate this, lower it down, and trim. It should be fine now. We can add the color next, and yeah, we're almost done with this. So for adding color, I will just duplicate the color from the rabbit, this golden color or bronze color. I'll just merge visible. So I have this mesh right here. Color everything and select the snow parts. Make sure auto group. Then I color these snow parts here. With the blue color that I picked from here. Like this. This one also. Well, make sure you just polygroup the one that you add color, just so make it easier for you. I think this one can be separated. So this one I'll polygroup it like this. So this one should be clear, so I'll put it white. This one here will be white also. This will be snowflake. Copy the color. This one will be a bit purplish. Same with this one. So we have problem here. This one is already subdivided a couple times. So I'll just split this at first. And this part here, I will crease all. Now I can just add more subdivision level here. Control D a couple of times. Increase all. Wait, let me undo that. This part here also need increase all like this. Now I continue subdivide a couple of times, increase all, divide again. Now this part here, let me undo again, just like this. Now it looks like this, should be good. Let me merge again with this part here. This one I'll add more subdivision. Merge down, always okay. So now we have this part here. Seems we can reconstruct subdivision even more. So this one should be fine like this. Oh, this color here should be white. Now we've done with the stuff here. Go back to the previously files. Check with the reference for the size. And I'll append the weapon part here. If you can't see your model, you can just go scroll down to deformation and press unify. And you can scale that like this. Just make sure your character height is correct. Now you can just move this part here. Thinking it's a little shapes like this. That should be fine now. We can put it next to her. So next we're gonna pose this character. So see you in the next class.